on?
Well, earlier today, of course, we had all of that beautiful sunshine, right? So we started off nice and bright and sunny this morning, then all the clouds rolled in. However, temperatures are still in really good shape. A lot of us are sitting in the upper 30s to low 40s, so it's nice and mild, and we are above the freezing mark with just a couple exceptions. So Valparaiso, Michigan City, Waukegan sitting at 32 degrees. Everyone else is nice and mild out there this afternoon. Now, throughout the next couple of hours, we're going to be seeing temperatures beginning to trend downward. We're going down into the mid-30s here throughout the evening hours, but then during the overnight, temperatures are actually going to be rather steady. We're going to have south-southwesterly winds that's bringing in some milder air for us to work with, so not too cold tonight. Your 5-day forecast here, we're going to be in the 40s tomorrow, I think just about area-wide. A little bit of a cool down by Wednesday and Thursday, but then 40s are set to return just in time for the weekend. Your full details coming up.
All right, there is a house in LaGrange that got foreclosed on last year. Now there are squatters living in it.
Yeah, and they will not leave. Police and SWAT raided the place and say they found drugs, including fentanyl.
Brett Gansey is getting answers. Brett, you heard there have been a bunch of complaints about this place and the person who owns it.
So I obtained these police records there. There are other allegations of prostitution. You have reports of random women getting dropped off at all hours of the night with their luggage, kind of wandering around their neighborhood. And there were even reports in here where they talked about women running out of the home screaming, saying that they were forced to do crack cocaine. So earlier today, we obtained a new video. This is a Ring doorbell camera from a neighbor that shows somebody crawling into the home through a side window. So somebody else bought this home out of a foreclosure auction back in June, but the new owners told me, or their lawyer told me, that they can't get a possession of the home because the squatters inside. So this is at 812 South Catherine in LaGrange, and I spoke with some neighbors today who described the last year and a half as a nightmare that simply will not end, and they are hoping a Cook County judge will finally order that the people who are inside of that home are removed from the home because they're worried about their safety.
There are a lot of kids. There's people who have pets that are walking their pets. There are a lot of people with kids on this block. We're a block and a half away from a school. This shouldn't be happening in a LaGrange neighborhood. When we call the cops and the cops actually show up for a complaint of ours, they knock on the door, and since they don't have a search warrant, nobody answers the door, and that's it. They have to walk away. As long as nobody answers the door and the people inside there know it, the police can do nothing.
So there's a new anti-squatter law that just just became law in Illinois. But here is the problem with that. If it doesn't apply to former tenants who have established residency in there, or they argue that they're residents of the home, so it has to go through the lengthy court process, which can take months, even sometimes years in some of those extreme cases there. But I spoke with the LaGrange Chief of Police, Timothy Griffin, who told me he plans on being at the eviction hearing tomorrow, and he said that he could potentially speak at this hearing because he wants this to get to a peaceful resolution here. But we're going to continue following this case right here on Fox Chicago. We are live in LaGrange tonight. Brett Gansey, Fox Chicago.
Thank you, Brett. Well, the Super Bowl is over, but negotiations on a new Bears stadium are starting to heat up.
Illinois wants to keep them, but Indiana's been pushing hard to get them to move. Paris Schutz is here. He's here with the latest on who's winning this tug of war.
Well, consider it the fourth quarter, and there's only a few minutes to go. And if the Bears want to host a Super Bowl, they're going to have to build this new stadium. The only question now is, will it be Arlington Heights or Hammond, Indiana?
Representatives from the governor's office, legislative leaders, and the Bears are close to an agreement on major issues to move forward in Arlington Heights, according to sources close to the talks. The sources say there is an agreement in principle on two key issues: public financing for infrastructure and the so-called pilot bill that would give the Bears and other mega developers the ability to negotiate property tax rates directly with the municipality. The sources say there are ongoing negotiations on givebacks for taxpayers, as well as affordability options on ticket prices. Bears CEO Kevin Warren says the team can't move forward without the legislation, and has vowed the team will foot all of the costs related to building the stadium. Today, Governor Pritzker sounded optimistic about the direction of talks.
There's a lot of discussion, a lot of ongoing conversation with the Bears, and indeed, frankly, progress that's been made. So I'm pleased about that. But, I'm going to let the Bears talk about what it is that they want to get done and how they want to get it done.
But are Illinois lawmakers making their moves too late in the game? Indiana's counterparts have already passed their bill out of the state Senate and are planning to move it in the state House as well. Indiana's Republican Governor Mike Braun has announced his support. That bill would create a public authority that would finance all or part of a new stadium, with the Bears paying rent. Sources close to the team say the only Hoosier State site is near Wolf Lake, right across the border in Hammond. Indiana lawmakers have said they plan to pass their bill by the end of their legislative session, February 27th. Illinois State Rep Cam Buckner, part of the state's negotiations here, say that doesn't factor into his thinking.
But we are not in competition with them as far as I'm concerned. What we're doing is having the conversations to make sure we can fine-tune what needs to happen in order for there to be a deal here in this state that works for everybody.
The time frame here is very important. Indiana does end its legislative session February 27th. The Bears could very likely make a decision in the next 2 weeks because of that. But notice the tone difference from Illinois lawmakers and the governor. In the past, it was, we're not helping out a billion-dollar corporation. Now it's, let's try to make a deal that's good for the state and good for the team. So the tone is changing, but the clock, Terrence, is ticking.
Yeah, we peeped that tonal shift there, Paris. Thank you. Now, Arlington Heights really wants to keep the Bears in Illinois.
So a local organization is going to hold a rally later this week. The event is called Springfield Kickoff, Bring the Bears to Arlington Heights. It's happening on Wednesday at the Doubletree Arlington Heights Hotel. It's being put together by Touchdown Arlington, a coalition of business owners who support the Bears coming there. On Good Day Chicago, we spoke to the founding member of that group who says the Bears would make a tremendous economic impact on the village.
We need to push them to go down there and pass the bill and have the Bears come to Arlington Heights to create thousands of jobs, sales taxes.
We'll continue to follow the latest developments on the Bears Stadium plans, and we're going to bring you more information as soon as we get any updates.
Almost 1.3 million kids in Illinois go to public schools that don't have enough money. That means they're not getting the education they deserve. Say lawmakers are trying to fix that. They want to close a gap that's more than $1 billion. The goal is to level things out for minority and low-income families. Right now, they don't get the same money for stuff like food, rides to school, social workers, and counseling.
Illinois requires schools to meet critical obligations like special education services, transportation for students with disabilities, and other mandated categoricals. These are not optional. They are legal and moral requirements. And if we require our schools to provide them, the state has an obligation to fund them.
The CTU backs this bill. Lawmakers have until next year to get all schools fully funded. That deadline was set back in 2017.
Lawmakers in Washington face a tough deadline. Funding for much of the Department of Homeland Security will be running out after Friday, and there isn't much optimism that Republicans and Democrats can reach a deal. This is primarily a standoff over ICE and immigration enforcement, but the collateral damage from a Homeland Security funding lapse could be huge, hitting everything from TSA agents to FEMA. And while there's already some give on the Democratic demands, such as body cameras for ICE agents, Republicans say they will not support banning face masks and other demands, citing agent safety.
Either they're going to agree to dramatically reform the way in which ICE and other immigration enforcement agencies are conducting themselves so that they're behaving like every other law enforcement agency in the country, or they're making the explicit decision to shut down the Coast Guard, shut down FEMA, and shut down TSA, and that would be very unfortunate.
Both chambers of Congress are expected to be on recess next week for President's Day.
Ghislaine Maxwell wouldn't answer questions today. She's Jeffrey Epstein's ex. She took the fifth at a House oversight deposition.
It was virtual and it was closed to the public, but here's the thing that her lawyers are now saying that she's going to talk about. If Trump gives her clemency, only then will she speak. Mike Emanuel has more on what's going on.
This obviously is very disappointing. We had many questions to ask.
House Oversight Chair James Comer speaking bluntly about the state of the Epstein investigation following what should have been an eye-opening deposition from Epstein's longtime girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell. Instead, she pleaded the fifth in response to nearly every question, claiming she'll only answer if she's given a pardon by President Trump, an idea opposed by most members of the committee.
I personally don't think she should be granted any type of immunity or clemency.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have been trying to figure out how Epstein got away with abusing so many girls for so long. And they want to know if any high-profile Americans helped. Two commanders-in-chief have been named, Presidents Trump and Clinton. But on Monday, Maxwell said she doesn't think either broke the law.
She has no indication and would say that neither Presidents Trump or Clinton are culpable for any wrongdoing.
Maxwell is serving a 20-year prison sentence for sex trafficking, but some Democrats are accusing the White House of trying to cut a deal in exchange for her silence.
Why did she not plead the fifth when Blanche asked her questions? And now she's pleading the fifth about things that don't implicate her, but may implicate many of the other powerful people.
Committee members also heading to the DOJ on Monday for an unredacted look at the Epstein files. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox Chicago.
Cardinal Blaise Cupich is calling for the White House to apologize for that racist video depicting the Obamas as apes. The social media post has since been deleted. It was reposted for a 62-second clip that alleged voting machine irregularities, and towards the end displayed a racist cartoon of the Obamas. In a statement, the Archbishop of Chicago called the video blatant racism and said only an unequivocal apology to the nation and to the persons that were demeaned is acceptable. Initially, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt described the criticism as fake outrage, but once the post was deleted, an unknown staffer was blamed. The post has also been condemned by both Democrats and Republicans.
Okay, early voting for the Illinois primary starts tomorrow in DuPage County. 5 places will be open 6 days a week. Chicago's opening 2 spots downtown Thursday. The primary is March 17th.
Spring training begins this week. Both Chicago teams are feeling pretty good about this.
Pitchers and catchers come in Wednesday. Before that, White Sox pitchers and catchers show up Tuesday.
And they're trying to build on last season. Tina is at Camelback Ranch.
Hello from Camelback Ranch, where it is very warm and sunny, and after months of making moves in the offseason, spring training has finally arrived for the White Sox, and it brings in some new faces like Sir Anthony Dominguez, Austin Hayes, Anthony Kay, Sean Newcomb, and of course the Japanese slugger in Munetaka Murakami, coming over from the NPB, where he's known to have one of the most explosive bats back in Japan, even hitting 56 home runs in one season. That set a single season record. Mooney joins a Sox team that's looking to build on the momentum they found in the second half of last year. That gave us a glimpse as to what Colson Montgomery, Chase Mydroth, and Kyle Teal are capable of. Pitchers and catchers report tomorrow here in Arizona. Full squad workout is on Sunday the 15th. But before all of that, GM Chris Getz set to address the media at 3:30 Arizona time. You'll hear from him in our 5 o'clock sportscast, as well as Chicago Sports Night Daily at 6 p.m. Reporting from Glendale, I'm Tina Nguyen, Fox Chicago Sports.
A lot of you are talking about that Ring camera Super Bowl ad about finding lost dogs.
Yeah, how the new feature works and why a privacy expert says you should pay attention.
Opening statements begin in a landmark trial over exactly who's to blame for the addictive nature of social media.
Savannah Guthrie just posted a new video about her missing mother, what she's asking you for.
Fox 32.
All right, Savannah Guthrie from the Today Show just put out a video. Her mom's been missing, as you know, for 2 weeks now.
As Caroline Elliott explains, the family is now at an hour of desperation.
Savannah Guthrie begging for answers in a new Instagram video 2 hours before the ransom deadline.
We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help.
The Today Show co-anchor asking the public for help after her 84-year-old mother disappeared more than 1 week ago.
We are at an hour of desperation.
The latest from investigators, or at least what they're saying publicly, is they still do not have a suspect or a person of interest in this case. Over the weekend, detectives continued searching Nancy Guthrie's home, focusing on the septic tank in her backyard.
You don't want to find out a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now when you actually catch the suspect that her body was in there. And so you've got to check that. Maybe a cell phone was flushed down the toilet. Maybe some other device that might give them some information is in there. They've got to check it.
An alleged ransom note set a Monday evening deadline for the family to hand over $6 million in Bitcoin. The Guthries have released several videos on social media pleading for their mother's return.
This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
TMZ reports the Bitcoin wallet was still empty as of Monday morning, and experts fear that even if the ransom were paid, it may be untraceable. Now, it's unclear what will happen if the family does not meet that 5 p.m. ransom deadline a little bit later today, but it was described in that ransom note as far more consequential. In Tucson, Arizona, Caroline Elliott, Fox Chicago.
Okay, there is this big social media trial that just got started. They spent more than a week picking a jury. Well, now opening statements are happening. The case is about Instagram and YouTube. They're accused of designing their apps to hook kids on purpose. There's a woman at the center of this. She is called KGM in court. She says the apps hurt her when she was a child, both physically and emotionally.
The more time they drive to their platforms, the more money they're able to garner. It's an attention economy that they're working.
The defense is likely to say, hey, mental issues are complex. We're just the platform. We don't cause the harm.
Companies say that's not true. They point to safety features they've added over time. Mark Zuckerberg is supposed to testify.
Ring's Super Bowl commercial sparked a whole lot of concern online about privacy. The ad was for the doorbell camera's new search party feature. It uses AI and accesses other people's Ring cameras to help track down missing pets. Well, many who saw this commercial commented online that this could lead to mass surveillance. A privacy expert we spoke with on Chicago Live says those concerns are valid.
Ring announced that they have a facial recognition rollout last fall. They also announced that they have a partnership with Flock, which is a license plate reading service that tracks drivers. They also have a partnership with Axon, which is evidence gathering and canvassing tool. So I think that it's a combination of people seeing this benign presentation and then connecting the dots to all of the ways this could be misused or expanded into other areas.
Amazon owns Ring. The company says Search Party has found 99 dogs in just 90 days.
Well, people keep asking what that smell is. It's all over the internet. A bunch of people in Algonquin and nearby towns have been calling 911 about it. That's how bad it is, apparently. No one knows what it is, though. The fire district says people are describing it as a chemical or like burning electrical stuff. That's the scientific term there for you. Fire officials in central Illinois, northwest Indiana, and even up past the Wisconsin border are getting reports too, but no one has figured out what the heck is causing it. Officials are telling people if they feel sick, like trouble breathing, dizzy, or nauseous, call your doctor.
I wonder what that's all about, huh? Let's take a live look outside. It's a cold. I wonder what it smells like out there. Is that what you're wondering too,
Like
right?
nothing. Cold smells like nothing.
You know, I didn't notice it so much downtown Chicago.
What, the smell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys noticed it at all?
I haven't, but now that you mention it, I guess I'm going to have to pay attention,
We
right?
have to go outside and take a whiff.
Yeah, you have to be alert. You have to be alert in order to be able to smell things.
Yeah, usually.
Paco Rabanne.
Yeah, a lot of us
That's
are
how
under
you say
cruise
it?
control.
My cologne, that's all I smell.
Oh,
Yeah.
let me smell.
I can't
Ooh,
smell
that
you
sounds
from over
nice.
here.
Yeah, I like that.
I'll come to you.
Okay. All right. Temperatures out there today. We have temps sitting in the upper 30s to low 40s. We do have that strong gusty southeasterly wind today. Very similar to the conditions that we were dealing yesterday. We're just a little bit warmer out there today. Futurecast temps taking us throughout the next couple of hours. Notice how these numbers, they're not really going to change all that much. So by about 10 p.m., a lot of us are still sitting in the mid 30s, which, by the way, is your average high temperature for this time of the year. So we're staying very mild this evening. And then even into early tomorrow morning, temperatures look pretty good. We're going to be waking up in the mid to upper 30s. And then through the day tomorrow, we're counting on highs that are going to be in the 40s, just about area wide, right along the lakefront, and then closer to the Wisconsin border there, we could only be in the upper 30s. Either way, above average, above the freezing mark. So we're going to continue to see some of that melting taking place. And we're going to see at least a little bit of sunshine as well. Skies are going to be partly sunny through the day on Tuesday. For tonight, here's what you can expect. 34 degrees for the overnight low. We will have kind of gusty southwesterly winds. So with gusts as high as about 20 miles per hour, that's going to be enough to send wind chill temperatures for some of us down into the 20s. So it is still going to have a little bit of a chill in the air tomorrow morning. 5-day forecast for you tomorrow, 42. We're at partly cloudy on Wednesday, high temperatures right around 37 degrees again on Thursday with a little bit more in the way of cloud cover. Friday and Saturday, I think we're in for some sunshine, and temperatures are back up to the 40s in time for Valentine's Day.
Oh, that is this week. I was looking, I was like, why is there a heart with the arrow? What is that about?
Heart month.
What about Singles Awareness Day? How about that? All right, Chicago has a new DEA boss, and he is investigating doctors.
What some of them are accused of doing and why it has federal attention.
A Pink Diner in Bridgeport with a dark history. The connection this Black History Month.
And a Chicago music conductor was part of last night's historic Super Bowl halftime show. We're going to introduce you to Maestro Giancarlo Guerrero.
Nice. The DEA's got a new top agent running things in Chicago. He's not just focused on getting drugs off the street.
Yes, this agency is also moving in on doctors who have committed serious violations. And Casey is joining us with the latest on this. Casey?
Hey, Terrence and Sylvia, they aren't just keeping an eye on doctors who overprescribe or push pills, but also on those who have been charged or convicted of serious crimes outside of work. The division's new special agent in charge is giving us a glimpse of what they've been working on since taking on the new role last month. Todd Smith is a 21-year veteran of the DEA and becomes the highest-ranking official at the agency in Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin. In recent months, the DEA stepped in for 2 local cases involving medical professionals. In December, Trevor Roston, a hospitalist in Elgin, was charged with sexually assaulting a 16-year-old with intellectual disabilities. And just last month, Michael McKee, a surgeon in Rockford, was extradited to Ohio, where he is accused of murdering his ex-wife and her husband, a well-known dentist in the Columbus area. In both cases, the DEA asked them to surrender their ability to prescribe medications here in Illinois, even if medical professionals aren't abusing their prescription access. Smith explains that this step protects the public.
In both instances, the doctors were alleged and charged in the state to have conducted violent crime, and we want to protect the community. So we moved quickly to obtain voluntary surrenders for cause, so those doctors could not prescribe medicine in the state of Illinois. This is fairly rare. You know, obviously you don't see doctors charged with crimes very frequently, but when they are charged with crimes through the state or the federal government, DEA will look to have those DEA registrations voluntarily surrendered.
Special Agent Smith also tells us about a newer street drug that's gaining popularity. It's called Tusi. It's a pink powder. We'll tell you more about that coming up at 5. Sylvia?
All right, thanks for that, Casey. Well, Apple has been recording your voice every time you use Siri, and it's been storing it.
Why a judge just cleared the way for 3 million people to sue him, why the damages could reach hundreds of billions. Come on back.
A new lawsuit claims your phone recorded your voice without permission. Why 3 million people can now sue.
The building that once locked out a family now belongs to them. What's changed in nearly 50 years?
And there are new details in that child death case in Lake County. The coroner now identifying the boy. He was 8 years old. They found him unresponsive in a home in Round Lake Beach.
2 adults are charged with murder. One of them is his mom. Leslie Moreno is live in Round Lake Beach with the latest. Leslie.
Hey guys, good evening. The Lake County coroner has identified that 8-year-old as Markel Pierce of Round Lake Beach. The coroner calling this a tragedy. You can see here behind me, family, friends and neighbors have been stopping by here, bringing teddy bears and flowers outside the 8-year-old's home. This is where emergency crews were called out to the 1900 block of Cedar Lake Road Friday afternoon for a report of an unresponsive child. Officers found the 8-year-old, gave him CPR and was rushed to the hospital where he later died. Authorities say the boy appeared malnourished and had bruising on his body, prompting a major crime investigation. Preliminary autopsy results and evidence inside the home point to malnourishment and long-term physical and mental abuse. Authorities say the boy's 10-year-old sibling was also inside the home and taken to the hospital after showing signs of abuse and malnourishment as well. Police say the child's mother, 33-year-old Dominique Servant, and her boyfriend, 38-year-old Joey Ruffin, are being charged with first-degree murder and child endangerment causing death. They both appeared for a detention hearing earlier this afternoon. Prosecutors say the abuse was ongoing, not impulsive, and they both posed a threat to others if released. The judge agreed and granted the state's request to detain them as the investigation continues. A neighbor who's lived next door for 8 years says she never once saw the child outside the home, leading her to believe he may have been kept indoors.
I was really shocked. Yeah, I didn't expect it at all. It's really sad to hear, knowing they're just like 8 and 10 years old. You never know what's going on around you, so this was really shocking.
Back out here live outside the home, we are seeing police come in and out of the home there this afternoon. We did also reach out to DCFS. They say the family was not receiving any of their services and they are actively investigating the child's death. We are still also waiting on the final autopsy results. Those results will give us more insight into the child's final days. We're now reporting live here in Lake County. Leslie Moreno, Fox, Chicago.
All right, Leslie, thank you. Let's take you back outside. Emily, this is a day where it's either just quiet or it's about to do something sneaky, so it's quiet, like a bad kid.
We don't have anything too sneaky coming up in the forecast this week.
Okay.
Actually, this week it looks like a pretty nice treat, especially after the last couple of weeks that we've had.
My bad, Mother Nature.
She's behaving this week.
She's behaving.
Okay.
I have no complaints from Mother Nature this week whatsoever. So temperatures out there right now, we're sitting in the upper 30s to low 40s for a lot of us, and typically for this time of the year, your average high is right around 34 degrees. So we're above that today. Take a look at the next 10 days around here. We're going to be in the 30s and 40s this week. I know your eyes are already jumping to next week. And yes, there are some signs and signals that we could very well end up in the 50s for a couple days. And there's even a couple models trying to sneak in some 60s. So it's really going to be something to watch next week. Of course, this is still more than a week out. There will be some changes here. But bottom line here is that a warmer weather pattern is taking shape, not only this week, but next week as well. For tonight, 34 gusty winds out of the south-southwest. Your 3-day forecast, we are looking at temperatures that are going to be in the 40s tomorrow, upper 30s on Wednesday, same thing on Thursday with a little bit more in the way of cloud cover.
Okay, stocks had a strong day. Remember Friday when the Dow hit 50,000 for the first time ever? Well, now today the S&P 500 went up about 5%. The Dow gained 0.1% and the Nasdaq climbed 0.9%. Investors are waiting on some reports coming out later this week. They're about jobs and inflation. Netflix is trying to buy Warner Brothers, as you know, but the Justice Department is investigating them.
The Wall Street Journal is reporting that the DOJ is looking to see if Netflix has been involved in any anti-competitive practices and will examine the possibility of Netflix becoming a potential monopoly if it acquires Warner Brothers. All this is coming after Warner Brothers accepted Netflix's $82.7 billion bid. The DOJ has the power to block this sale if it believes Netflix puts its competition at an unfair disadvantage.
A lawsuit against Apple could reach hundreds of billions of dollars. A judge just cleared 3 million people to sue over Siri. Here's what happened. Apple has been recording your voice every time you use the voice assistant. Each time it creates a voice print and stores it. That is where the problem starts. Illinois law says you need written permission before collecting any biometric data. Apple did not get it. That is why it is now a class action suit. If you have used Siri in Illinois since 2014, you can join in. The law allows damages of $1,000 to $5,000 per violation. Now, to put this into perspective for you, Google paid $68 million to settle a similar case.
A growing battle over a massive Amazon data center. The group No Data Centers Hobart, Indiana, is suing the city over its proposed $11 billion project. They claim the city violated state law by skipping key steps before approving this plan. A Lake County judge will decide on Wednesday whether city leaders can move forward with this permit. Governor Pritzker was in Belleville this morning to highlight the expansion of the state's sales tax and revenue bonds program, or STAR program. Recently passed legislation letting local governments issue those bonds to companies to help fund construction projects. The governor says this will help lure major developers and create even more jobs.
By expanding this STAR Bonds program, we're opening up more paths to sustainable growth across communities in Illinois. And this is yet another way that we are boosting small businesses with the partnership of state and local government, of community partners, and economic development organizations.
Now, in order to be eligible for the STAR bond, the construction project must create at least 300 new jobs.
Chicago Black Restaurant Week is happening now. One of the restaurants participating is Stussy's Diner in Bridgeport.
Now, they opened in August of 2024 and hit $1 million in their very first year.
Yeah, and the building has history with the owner's family. In the 1970s, co-owner Eric Nance's grandfather was locked out during an attack there. This happened at 31st and Halstead. His grandfather was an off-duty Chicago police officer. He and his family were outside when people inside locked the doors. Years later, Eric saw the building was up for sale and bought it. Today, Stussy's is Black and female owned. They serve the neighborhood and provide meals to people without housing. The co-owners talked about what it's like there.
It's truly a fulfilling feeling, just seeing people gather here and come together, relax, hang out with their friends. It's amazing.
Yeah,
families.
Honestly, too, if you think about it, like, Stussy's is really a place for young adults and people alike to come and feel safe and to enjoy themselves, to be serviced by good people that look like them, and enjoy something empowering for the community.
We'll take you back to that day in 1979 ahead on the news at 5. As we said, Stussy's is one of 40 restaurants in Chicago Black Restaurant Week, which runs through February 22nd. We have a full list on fox32chicago.com.
A wreath laying at the Black-owned Burr Oak Cemetery in Alsip. The cemetery was founded in 1927 and is known as one of Illinois' most historic African-American burial grounds. Civil rights icons Emmett Till and his mother are also there, including blues singer Dinah Washington and Willie Dixon, and heavyweight boxing champ Ezzard Charles are buried at Burr Oak. Today's wreath laying paid tribute to the men who helped establish those burial grounds, W. Ellis Stewart and Earl B. Dickerson. More on their legacy ahead on the news at 5.
Bad Bunny brought Puerto Rican culture to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did. Mi gente coming up, what all that imagery in his halftime show actually meant and why he chose it. My co-anchor's writing scripts for me.
If you want total health care from a provider you trust,
hi, Blair.
Right in the palm of your hand, if you want soup, sweatpants, and zero in-person contact, if you want wellness wherever, our virtual primary care delivers with great website manner.
No worries.
So choose your doctor from our profiles and enjoy the healthiest online relationship you've ever had. House calls have evolved. Advocate Healthcare.
Welcome to Take 5 Oil Change.
It was a face-off more than a decade in the making as the New England Patriots and the Seahawks battled on the field of Levi Stadium during their Super Bowl rematch. And this time, the Seahawks kept their steady lead since the beginning of the game. They just didn't let up with a score of 29-13. They claimed their second Super Bowl title in franchise history.
Love their win even more because it meant a major loss for Drake. Boy, he's had it rough lately. Kidding. He revealed on Instagram he placed a $1 million bet on the Patriots. The Patriots. Drake had challenged fans typing "bet against me if you dare," but his move sparked a lot of jokes about the so-called Drake curse. It's a pop culture theory that teams he backs tend to lose.
$1 million?
Just like him. I mean, I'm kidding. I'm not. I'm going to stop disclaiming stuff that I actually mean with my full chest. All right. Quite possibly the biggest winner of the night, Bad Bunny. His Apple Music halftime show brought Puerto Rican culture to Cali.
So he started the show by introducing himself by his legal name, Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, and said, "I'm here today at Super Bowl 60 because I never, ever stopped believing in myself."
Yeah, his nearly 13-minute-long set featured a melody of his songs. Special guests, including Lady Gaga and Ricky Martin, and imagery to reflect his culture from Puerto Rico's national flower that was pinned on Lady Gaga's dress. Damaged power lines, that's a testament to the territory's repeated issues with failed electricity grids, and then sugarcane fields filled with workers, boxers, lovers, and an orchestra.
And you might have noticed as he walked through those makeshift sugarcane fields, a conductor directing a string orchestra. Well, that was none other than Chicago's own maestro Giancarlo Guerrero. He is the new conductor of the Grant Park Music Festival. He's a 6-time Grammy Award winner himself. There he is. Guerrero says being a part of the halftime show was an amazing experience, and it was beyond inspiring to work with Bad Bunny and the other artists. He also says he scored some points with his wife and daughter, who are huge Bad Bunny fans. Guerrero's from Nicaragua and calls Bad Bunny a multi-talented artist who plays so many kinds of Hispanic music that it just feels like home. Guerrero is currently the music director of the Sarasota Orchestra and will be back in Chicago to kick off the Grant Park Music Festival in June. We'll be speaking with him tomorrow. We'll bring you that interview on the news at 4.
Can't wait to ask him if he had to keep it a secret from his family.
Can you imagine? That would be so hard.
So a lot of the dancers have to sign NDAs and stuff.
Did you love the sugar cane? At what point did you realize there are people in those plane
stalls? Not until hours later on Instagram.
Right? How cool was that?
I saw the trees and the sugar cane fields moving.
Running in there. Yeah,
I was like, I know I've not had that many lemon drop martinis. Another big moment where many people are talking about, you probably just saw the video of this, was that Bad Bunny he was invited to a couple's wedding. So he responded with his own invitation to say, hey, you know what, how about you exchange your vows during my performance? The couple, you see him there, was shown a few times throughout the set. This was the scene halfway through, though, surrounded by backup dancers. The officiant announced him husband and wife, and they shared a kiss in front of the world. Bad Bunny served as a witness, and he signed their marriage certificate. Bad Bunny closed the show by listing several Latin American countries before spiking a football, which read, "Together we are America." And I love the billboard behind him that said, the only thing more powerful than hate is love.
Yeah, very cool. Well, official Nielsen ratings for the Super Bowl haven't come out just yet, but early tracking suggests it could be among the most watched halftimes in history. Turning Point USA is what you're looking at there. It hosted an alternative halftime show on YouTube. It was headlined by Kid Rock and garnered about 5 million live views.
This one, he broke Sheryl Crow's heart, so bye. You don't leave home without yours. Astronauts couldn't bring theirs to space until now, when NASA just changed.
Wait, Sheryl Crow?
You know they waited?
I didn't know that.
Well, he's trying to soak up that sun.
We get to this commercial. Okay, and a need for speed. How cute is this? A toddler learning to walk challenges her grandfather to a walker race.
That's awesome.
I love that. We're going to reveal the winner in just a bit. But first, here's a look at your to her trip home. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah,
Look at that map for
bad, but now we talking about
Sheryl Crow. I didn't know about
up the sun, child.
So back to Sheryl Crow. No, I'm
So
kidding.
I'm saying they both say that they never
dated.
But
Okay.
I mean, you
Terrence thinks
Ruben,
otherwise.
he knows the scoop. And how long ago was this?
2012, because they had a couple songs together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't name
We
one
work
of
together,
his, but
Terrence.
I
Just
know
because
hers.
people work together.
Be careful, because some people's thoughts.
They have thought. Anyway, we have to get to weather. We were told to do a short talk.
I got her
Here
blushing.
we go.
Got her blushing.
Let's take a look at the forecast for you. For the next couple of days here, we are really going to be heating things up. As far as temperatures go, we're looking at 30s and 40s this week, but next week could be a little bit of a different story. So this is your temperature outlook from February 15th to the 19th, which of course is Sunday through Thursday of next week. And we are strongly favored to see above average conditions. And some models are actually bringing us into the 50s, even 60s, coming very close to the Chicagoland area. So it's really going to be something to watch for next week. Satellite and radar, things are quiet for now. We have precipitation well to our north, not going to be an issue for us. Futurecast taking us through tonight and into early tomorrow morning. I think we're going to be starting off with some sunshine. We're going to be partly sunny in the morning, then become partly cloudy through the day. So a little bit more in the way of sunshine expected during the afternoon. Your high temperatures looking great. We're going to be in the 40s for your highs tomorrow. And then looking forward to Wednesday. Wednesday looks good too, but temperatures will take at least a little bit of a hit. We're looking at temps that are going to be in the 30s for your highs. But regardless, average for this time of the year is 34, and we're staying above that all week. Little to no precipitation chances going into this weekend. Things are looking good for Valentine's Day on Saturday with a high of 42. We'll be right back.
Matchbox 20 will play at this summer's Illinois State Fair. The band will take the grandstand August 16th. That's a Sunday. Tickets go on sale Friday, this Friday. The fair runs from August 13th through the 23rd in Springfield.
You know who he sang with? Carlos Santana. Smooth. Yes. One of my all-time favorites, right?
That song, I know, but that doesn't count as his because that was Carlos Santana. We still don't know when the Artemis 2 mission will launch to go around the moon.
However, we know that the crew will get to take their smartphones with them. In case you were wondering, NASA officials just announced consumer electronics will now be allowed on missions. That's something that hasn't been done since the Apollo moon program. Crew 12 will also get to use phones when they go to the International Space Station. Of course, without cell towers in space, astronauts won't be able to call or text, but the smartphones will replace GoPro and DSLR cameras to help the astronauts document their activities. Well, if they can use cell phones, does that mean we can start using our cell phones on airplanes now?
Listen, you got to pick that up with the FAA and Sean Duffy. Yeah, that's his name. Okay, it's not the Olympics, but this race is winning gold and cuteness. You got to see this special moment caught on camera.
On your mark, get set.
Oh, boy. Look at her go. Yeah.
She's saying, she's saying, come on, Grandpa.
Okay. I come.
That's so cute.
That's Natalie. She's 10 months old, and her great-grandfather, he's 91, Name is George. Side by side with their walkers racing down the hallway at the Memory Care Center. Natalie did win. The family hopes this video reminds people to call their loved ones and visit seniors and nursing.
That's adorable.
Oh,
look at her.
I love
so
that.
Cute.
All right, thanks for watching the news at 4.
Now it's time for the news at 5. Here are Casey and Scott.
All right, thanks, you two. Now at 5, the battle over the Bears. Lawmakers are pushing to keep the monsters of the Midway right here in Illinois.
Plus, there's a new chief in Chicago tasked with getting drugs off the streets. He's sharing what agents